I'm Clark Speaks, the catastrophic injury lawyer. Welcome to The Verdict. This is Catastrophic Comeback. Well, so it sounds like this is intended to be, or these types of programs are intended to be a bridge from, that point at which you gain the independence, you finish with your high school experience, or maybe if it's a physical disability of somebody injured catastrophically later in life, you finish with your medical treatment and get all the physical rehabilitative medicine that you can get. And then this would be the bridge from that to a more productive and independent life.
Absolutely. I sent you a video about a student at UNCW who had a traumatic brain injury. Interacted with someone in student affairs. They said the student was coming, and I emailed the father and I said, "Hey, I hear you come to UNCW. If there's anything I can do, to support you, let me know." Which he responded back and said, "I'm stunned. Like, you're vice chancellor of student affairs. Why are it's like, if anything I can do to help you and your son be successful, let me know." So then he shows up kind of on campus and say, "Hey, I want to meet Dr. Davis." Stops by my office, and I started helping his son. Like, he needed a single room. Has double vision, and his eyes move back and forth kind of constantly. But he talked about, when I study, I can't really read for a long period of time because I have double vision. He went to Maryland to work with this neurological specialist that talked about his vision. And I said, "Let me hook you up with someone in the health center that can help you to practice and exercise." And because he does kind of these vision exercises to help him do these things. He's decided that he wants to major in Spanish. And so I called someone in the Spanish department and said, "Hey, here's a student who wants to major in Spanish. This is some things that have happened. I want you to, take care of him, make sure he finds classes, all of these things." This was a kid who gave up on college as being a reality and whose father did not think it was possible, who finished his first year with a 4.0 GPA. He found out that I was leaving and going to the University of Texas at Arlington, sent me an email, wants to do everything that he can do to be a successful and regular college student. But if you could see the video of his brain injury and how long he was in the hospital, and from where he was to where he is now, is nothing short of a miracle. And this guy is talking, he's walking. He gets tired. He came to orientation and he said, "I'm just overwhelmed. It's just too much. I cannot process that much information." So don't worry about it. Let's figure out how to help you. Let's give you the resources you need to be successful. And so he's registered with Disability Services. We've linked him up with tutoring. We've done all the things that we can do to make sure that he can be successful, in addition to having someone to help him to practice his vision exercises. I did that, and I work with this student because, one, it's my job, but two, it's the right thing to do. Don't want to harp on this, but to see the video and to see where he is now, he has made tremendous progress. And so if there's anyone out there who's listening or watching, do not let an injury or what someone may tell you be a barrier for you applying to college, thinking about college, or doing what you need to do in order to enroll at an institution of higher learning. You may not decide to go to a four-year institution. You may decide to start at a community college, and that's fine. But we have resources in place to help you from the admissions process to financial aid to when you actually enroll. This particular student is signed up for, I believe, initially like 18 hours and said, "This is too much." I think he ended up the first semester with 12, which is fine. He completed a full load. He could go to the rec center. He did everything that every other student could do, where he may have been told at some point that him going to college wasn't possible. And he should have gone to college, I believe, at this point, 3 years ago. It took him 2 years to rehab, to do things, to eventually decide to go to college. And this individual is not from Wilmington. His parents are about 4 hours away. And so they let their child go. His father has my cell phone number. And so he may call and text me, just different things. It speaks to, and I know this is not about me, but there are people on college campuses like me who will do the same thing for any student. And so figure out what those resources are, take advantage of them, and know that you too can be successful regardless of an injury that you may believe is life altering. It may prevent you from standing, it may prevent you from having, full mobility, um, but you can go to college and you can be successful.
Well, it sounds like to me also that this particular individual has a really positive attitude, and that's going to be critical in anybody being successful after some kind of mental or physical disability or injury.
I would say positive attitude goes a long way, and he also happens to be a person of faith. He relies on his faith to help him to deal with certain situations and uh, to help him to continue to push and to move forward.
We may come back to the faith
Mhm.
question in a little while because I know that faith is important to you. It's important to me, and I did want to get your perspective on that. So I'm gonna come back to that in just a little while. In the meantime, in terms of applying or just gauging to see what would be the first step if somebody is suffered a catastrophic injury, they have a serious mental injury, they have a serious physical injury, one or the other, or both maybe, and they're thinking, okay, maybe this is something that I could do. What would be the first steps in gauging if this is a possibility or if this is the right thing for them to do?
So I would probably start with calling the Office of Disability Services or Accessibility Resources and say, "This is what has happened to me. I'm thinking about coming to this institution. What accommodations can you provide? And what is the process I would need to receive an accommodation?" I would then apply to the institution. Those offices are only going to serve admitted students. So I would apply to the institution. And once admitted, I would then contact an academic advisor. And I would talk to an academic advisor about my injury and help them to understand what my limitations may be and allow them to provide guidance on possibly an intended major, the number of classes I should take at a time, and really what that would look like for me as a student at that institution.
It would seem to me that it would be a sort of a case by case thing, like, and it would maybe you start at the back and you say, well, what careers might I look at the end of this, and then maybe work backwards from there. Is that fair?
I would say it's fair. The Career Center reports to me at UNCW, and it's interesting that there are certain majors that we tend to say you're going to do this maybe professionally, possibly. I majored in English. I'm a vice chancellor of student affairs. I would say at this point, the Career Center and the particular like job afterwards may be an end goal, but do not let that box you in for what you want to do or what you may think that you want to do long term. This student who I've talked about earlier came to the institution, I believe, as a business major and is now a Spanish major and wants to work for the State Department.
So the point is to maybe get engaged if you can, learn about your alternatives,
Hmm.
and maybe have a path in mind, but be open minded to change paths if something else, if a different opportunity presents itself.
Absolutely, and that's what an academic advisor is going to help this is going to help the student or the individual do. An academic advisor is going to talk to them about potential majors. We have career counselors that can talk to them about potential jobs with a particular major. But an academic advisor will sit down and say, "Hey, you've had this. Maybe you don't need to try 15 hours or 18 hours. Maybe let's do 12, or maybe let's do 6. Let's ease into this and see how you do. And once you tell us how you are doing with 6 or 9 hours or 12 hours, then we may decide to add another class to it." So, an academic advisor is going to be key to this person's success.
One question I had is what kind of medical or rehabilitative services or emergent services might be available to students on campus if they have concerns about their mental or physical health or stability?
Well, a student is required to have health insurance, and we have a health center. They will also pay a student health fee where they can schedule an appointment. We have one full time physician, we have a part time physician, and a couple of nurse practitioners, as well as several nurses. If a student has any kind of I'm going to say physical situation or issue, we would send them to the health center. And if they cannot handle what the situation is, we of course will refer them out. They will then, if there are x-rays or anything like that, they can send them back to us at the health center to make sure that we are providing appropriate treatment for the student. If, as a result of this, a student needs some extra, I'm going to say TLC, we have resources in place to do this. I'm going to, once again, kind of brag on UNCW and maybe the Division of Student Affairs. This year we started Seahawk Rides. And Seahawk Rides is a program for students who may have a disability or an injury and they need to go from one class to another class. This really started when I got there. I had a conversation with a parent who works on campus whose daughter happens to be a student athlete but was going to have surgery on their leg and was on crutches. And the parent asked me, how is my daughter supposed to get to class in a timely manner if she can't park all over campus? Am I supposed to take off my job to make sure my daughter gets to class? And I was like, you know what? I've thought about this, and we're going to launch something called, we're going to launch a program to support these students just like this. So it took us a year to kind of figure it out. And this year we piloted the program. And I hope even in my departure that they will keep the program going for students who have maybe a physical disability, who need really efficient, an efficient way to move around campus to go from class to class. On the mental health side, the challenges that we're seeing for students who are coming to our institutions with mental health have just grown. I've been working in higher ed, believe it or not, probably almost 20 years. I'm not aging myself, but almost 20 years. And just the need that students have when it comes to mental health resources, it's just grown. The UNC system has been very generous to us, where if students come to us with issues that are beyond the scope of the mental health center, we do have some funds where we can refer them to some resources out in the community. The governor, as well as the state legislature, is investing millions of dollars in mental health resources for the residents of the state of North Carolina, as well as students who are on college campuses. We're excited to take advantage of some of those funds to assist our students on campus. We are proceeding with hiring a sports psychologist to aid our student athletes. We have mental health first aid, QPR training, a number of training also for faculty and staff members to recognize maybe some mental health issues in our students. So once again, just even more support, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether there are accommodations that a student may need. We, institutions of higher education, are set up to support students regardless of any form of injury.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us to stay up to date with our weekly episodes. We'll see you next time.